It's my pleasure to welcome our next guest, Hilda Norton, author of A Stroke of Love. This lovely, intimate book chronicles the journey she shared with her husband, Rex, following his massive stroke in March 2010. Hilda, a wife, mother, musical educator, and violinist, joins us today to talk about her relationship with her husband, the struggles she's faced with the help of her faith, and the surprising, unexpected joys she experienced during a difficult time. Welcome, Hilda. Thanks for joining us on today's program.
Thank you for having me.
Sure. So, Hilda, your book, A Stroke of Love, is this wonderful journey about your relationship with Rex. Set the stage for this love story. Tell us a little bit about your history, how you met, your children, that kind of thing.
Rex and I met in 1963. I came down to Washington County to pioneer a string program, and he was already here teaching band in band program. So we met at a music teachers meeting, and he kind of took me under his wing because I had 8 schools, actually 9 schools to teach in, and he was teaching in several schools too. So he mentored me, but then it led into a courtship. And the courtship lasted really long, much longer than I ever wanted it. But anyway, we got married in 1969.
After 6 years, right?
After 6 years, 1969. And we had so much in common, though. You know, we loved our music, and we loved hiking in the woods, and he enjoyed taking me on road trips in his TR4. But we got married and started our family. And I stayed home to be a mom at home, but I still wanted to teach. So he supported me just so beautifully. I was teaching private students and playing in 3 different orchestras. I was playing the Maryland Symphony, and we blended ourselves together.
That's great.
Yes.
And Hilda, how long did it take you to write this book?
It took me 17 months to write it.
Mm-hmm. And what do you hope that readers take home? What's the take-home message that you want people to experience as they finish this book?
I would like for them to experience inspiration, hope, to learn to give all their love that they can in caring for their loved one, and to trust in God.
Mm-hmm. Okay, great. And Hilda, this book, of course, you mentioned your 3 sons, but you also mentioned the different doctors that supported you on your journey for Rex during his recovery, and also you talk about later, once Rex was diagnosed with leukemia, about the hospice staff. Is there any of those people that you would want to recognize today on the TV show?
Well, first off, I would like to thank my family
Mm-hmm.
and friends, and I can remember I'd like to acknowledge Dr. Sullivan, who examined Rex the day of his stroke, and there was a bit of a miracle that happened. I didn't think Rex was even going to come to because his stroke was massive, and he started to move his paralyzed leg, and he mumbled, "I want to walk." So Dr. Sullivan saw, we were all amazed, and he said, "Oh, we're going to put this man into rehab on Monday." And so we started to rehab in Washington County, and he was there for a month, and then we journeyed on to Western Maryland in the brain trauma unit. So there I met Dr. Hunt. He was the psychologist there, and he inspired me and really prepared me as to what I might endure when I would get home, when Rex could be able to get home. And he did. He got home, and it was wonderful.
And I know I read in your book 15 months later he was walking without his leg brace. So that
Yes.
was pretty much unexpected, right?
Well, we had a tremendous help from Dr. Ryan's physical therapy, and his team was wonderful. And Dr. Ryan never gave up on his progress. We were with him from October of 2010 until February of 2015.
And that's when Rex was diagnosed with leukemia.
Yes.
Now, when was it that you called hospice in?
Well, Dr. Cass initiated us learning about or having hospice, and I felt it wasn't my decision. So I went down to Rex, and I held his hands, and I talked to him, and I said, "Rex, would it be okay if hospice would come in to help me take care of you, to make you comfortable?" Mm-hmm. And he said yes. And that's all I needed to know. And before I knew it, the hospice team was there the next day. Just right away, we got everything in place and met the team, and they were just wonderful.
I know in your book you mentioned a couple of the hospice team members that really filled a need for you. Could you tell us a little bit about the chaplain Musgrove and maybe Lynn Milik?
Oh my goodness, Chaplain Dwayne Musgrove our spirits just connected, and he connected with Rex because he was also a musician, and they sang songs together and played checkers, and then we prayed together, and Rex really looked forward to him coming. And then Lynn Milik, she was just an expert at her job. She guided us and comforted us, and really gave us the confidence in how and what to do towards the very end.
And what to expect.
What was expected. And without them, I'm sure the journey would have been much harder.
Well, we're almost running out of time, but I wanted to ask you maybe if you could tell us how people could purchase your book and tell us a little bit about where they can get it.
Yes, they can purchase the book for $20. They can get it through Amazon.com, Barnes & Noble, also from the publishing company Zulon Press Bookstore, and from me, the author, and I will be so happy to sign the book for them.
Oh, that'd be great.
And actually, if they get it through me, the proceeds is much greater, so I can give back to Doey's House.
That's great. Well, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you.
And for sharing your
having me.
talents and your writing with us.
Thank you.
Hilda's remarkable gift for being present brings her happiness and peace. Her positive outlook during difficult days enabled her to be grateful and inspired laughter. According to Hilda, in a passage from her book, laughter lightens your load and makes the day seem brighter. As I was reading A Stroke of Love, I had a sense that it was much more of a love story between two people connected by their passion for music and family, as it was a memoir about a serious health condition. If you want to be inspired, I encourage you to pick up a copy of Hilda's book today. Remember, in doing so, you will be supporting Doey's House. Stay close. I'll be right back after this brief message.